What's going on, y'all? This is Josh from Team Super Shoe. Welcome back to another episode of The Shoe Show. We are not talking about combat boots out kicking ass for the military. No, we are talking about the one and only shoe of NASCAR, Corey LaJoie, and just anything NASCAR related. Super pumped to have you guys up for the 8th episode. And I know it's a few days after, but happy Independence Day. This country is great. And speaking of the country being great, we got to hang out with our friend, military veteran at TJ Tiu. He gets to come over and talk to us and tell us about his career in the military. He tells us about his weekend at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, where he got to hang out with his favorite race car driver, Corey LaJoie. And he was a part of the pre-race ceremonies. So he definitely has a unique story, and I'm super excited to hear from him. We are going to be chatting with our friends, Mike and Andrew. We're going to be talking about the current racing and the current topics, but we're also going to be talking about our main subject is going to be silly season. It's the term that NASCAR likes to use. Basically, it's our draft. It's the time that we get to see if the drivers stay, if the crew chiefs stay. We get to see if there's any type of seat shuffle in the Cup Garage. And not that I have any, I don't have any insider information, so please don't take it as if I'm breaking any news. It's merely speculation, and but I'm definitely interested to see whether or not Corey LaJoie is going to be hanging out in the number 7 car next year at Spire, or if he's going to be moving on to something else. We're going to be debating what all options he has. Our guest of the show, we are going to have Caurie Putnam-Ferguson and her son Brady. Brady has a genetic disorder, and he was granted almost like a Make-A-Wish, but it was with the Dream Factory of Rochester, New York, and they granted him to be able to meet his favorite race car drivers, Corey LaJoie and Joey Logano. And he got to go to Watkins Glen and has a pretty cool story. And we're just going to get to know Corey and see what it's like living day to day in her shoes and in her household and taking care of her son. And it's super cool to get to meet them and very humbling for sure. And then we are all finally going to have the member of the month. He's going to be the youngest member of the month that we've had so far. He's 13 years old, and it's Nathan Brzozowski. He is going to hang out with us for a few minutes, and he's going to tell us about why he's a big fan of Corey LaJoie. And it's just pretty cool to see him. And other than that, that's pretty much all she wrote for this episode. I'm super excited to get this show rolling. And without further ado, let's go ahead and bring up TJ Tiu, military veteran and member of Team Super Shoe. All right, y'all, we are here and we're hanging out with longtime Team Super Shoe member TJ Tiu. TJ, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you? How's the family doing?
Very good, man. How about you? You're out in St. Louis?
Yeah, so basically east of St. Louis, O'Fallon, Illinois, about 20 minutes east, stationed at Scott Air Force Base here.
Okay. And you're in the Air Force. How long have you been doing that? Can you tell us a little bit about your career?
So I've been in the military 12 years now. To be honest with you, time has gone by so fast. And it's made me a better person, made me be a part of a bigger family. And the cliche of be a part of something bigger than yourself. Honestly, I could not done it without the military. So, yep, 12 years in, all that, still having fun, rocking and rolling, man.
Cool, man. Yeah. And do you have any proud moments, anything that you're going to take away when you retire from the military?
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I was about the first year in, just watching, I was in Virginia at the time, just watching the airplanes take off, and a couple minutes later I was there holding the boxes of parts that were needed to fix that airplane. So having a hand in projecting our air power as a nation, that's awesome. Also, a couple of recent times, I'm heavily involved in making sure our cargo airplanes are good to go. So the big evacuation in Afghanistan, the baby formula that was flown within 24 hours from Europe. So myself and my team have had a hand in that. So makes me very proud that us as people can do something like that. So
that's crazy. So how often are you reporting for duty out there?
I work pretty much Monday through Friday. Always on duty 24/7, essentially, especially when you're in charge of a section, taking care of our America's sons and daughters. So that's kind of my job now, is making sure the team's running well and making sure that we're sending airplane parts to the right places in the whole world.
Well, that's pretty cool. I grew up. I'm not a veteran, but if there was if there was one I would pick, it would be the Air Force. Because growing up, I was a big fan of going to the air shows and seeing the jets and the Blue Angels and everything. So that's pretty cool. So, well, man, you got to go have a good experience on Worldwide Technology Raceway. Kind of wanted to hear your story about the weekend.
Oh my gosh. So first of all, that night I was so excited I couldn't sleep. I was like, this is going to be amazing. I knew I had my my 7 hat, the gray one. This one, I had this in my pocket the whole time because I knew that I was going to be able to see Caurie, right? And before that, Leanne actually sent me a message like, hey, do you want your other hat? I can just bring it with me. But I was like, I don't want to risk it. So just ship it. It's fine. So I had the little inkling that I was going to be able to meet him. And I was fortunate enough to be there at driver intros. And Leanne actually recognized me. So, I mean, how awesome is that somebody that works very close to our own Super Shoe recognized me, this person, So it was awesome. I was enjoying every moment of it. I was fortunate enough to stand in front of the 7 pit box as well. Got a chance to talk to Sparks before the race. And as you guys all know, that race was kind of cut short for Caurie due to engine problems. But, oh man, what an amazing experience. And going back to the race, Gateway surprisingly raced well with the next gen car. So I was stoked for that. Logano win, doesn't matter what you think about him. It's still a good win. I was able to stand behind their pit box the last two laps of that. So just watching all the little nuances that the crew members do. It was amazing. What an experience.
That's awesome. So you hung out in the pits the whole time, basically?
I was actually walking around the venue when the 7 had engine troubles. I actually started walking towards their hauler. Unfortunately, I missed that due to some other obligations. But yeah, just walking around and enjoying the sights and sounds. I was able to go into the media center. So yeah, man, what an amazing experience.
And did you get to see or experience anything unique? I mean, I know you got to meet Caurie. Was there any cool stories you took away from just hanging out in the pits like that?
Yes. So with NASCAR and how patriotic NASCAR is and how we take care of our service members. It's amazing what you can do when you're wearing a uniform. So I was able to walk behind pit lane and I was just able to walk slowly. Everybody's there hustling and bustling. I just walked slowly and just enjoyed and soaked it all in. Because you don't see all that stuff in TV. So what I was there for to watch is all the stuff that I didn't see on TV. So all the little things that the crew members do, and all the TV production, even, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the good behind the scenes look is what I was looking for, and I got it for sure. Even the post race inspection, I was there. Nice. So that was awesome.
Nice. And so, and you were out there specifically to be a part of the pre-race ceremonies. What did you
Yes.
do? How were you involved in that?
So originally, we were told we were going to be holding the flag during the national anthem, but there was a bunch of nurses that did that. So we were there to line the driver intro and just talk to people and be ambassadors to our United States Air Force, and that's what we did. And this community as a whole, St. Louis, the Southern Illinois region, is amazing to our military members. Yeah, it was good. We're just basically an ambassador for our armed forces.
Nice. Yeah, I agree that the racing was pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed even without the Hamlin drama that was going on. Corey, of course, didn't have a great race, but I felt like it was a really good race, and I actually didn't go in very excited because it just being a flat track, it's
Yeah.
you never really expect a lot of passing, but I was pretty surprised. I thought it was a pretty good show. So
Yeah, I was expecting a little bit of like a Texas scenario for the Gateway race, but like I said, I was surprised, especially going into 1 and 2. I was watching the 7 for the first couple laps. He was duking it out with a 6. Who knew, right? Like Corey's racing against Brad Keselowski.
right.
But yeah, so I was watching that. Yeah, it raced pretty well. So yeah.
Is this your first race?
It is kind of in a way. So for the past couple of years, when I was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada and Las Vegas, we would volunteer to be tram drivers. So we'd tram people in and out of the infield and all that. So I still got to see that part. Got to watch the race from the infield. Just not as much access as I was given when I was at Gateway.
Awesome, man.
So.
Good deal, man. Well, you have anything else for us before we wrap this up? I just wanted to catch up with you and get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, man. So I was thinking about this. I was like, what was I going to say? I don't think people thank you and Michael enough for what you guys do for us as fans. So again, thank you for what you do and putting all the Facebook group together, consistently putting out content for us. The race day chat, I feel like that's a great thing because it brings us all fans together into that one single area. Because we're not a big group, right? We're not the Chase Elliott fan group, right? So, but I feel like as solid as we are, and there's important people in our Facebook group that watch us, right? That's very close to the organization. So, again, thank you so much for what you guys do for us fans.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I just somebody threw me the ball and I just keep running with it. So it's been a lot.
Hey, you're doing.
Yeah,
it's
been a lot of fun.
Man.
It's been a lot of fun. It's really cool to get to come on the show and talk to people like you and create, friendships and just it's I never really asked for it. It just kind of came about, God sent it my way and I just keep going. So it's been good. Well, I know it's a few days late. This is going to be airing on July 7th. So happy Independence Day. And
Yes,
TJ,
sir.
if it wasn't for people like you, we wouldn't have the freedoms that we have. So thank you so much for your service. And you're just, you're one of the good heroes out there,
Thank you so much. Like you said, just doing what we're here to do. So
yeah, man.
Again.
All right, brother. All right. Take care, man. All right, y'all, we're back and we're meeting with our friends, Andrew and Mike. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Mike, how you doing, man?
No complaints. Life is good here.
Yes, sir. Happy Independence to you guys. Independence Day to you guys. This is going to be airing right after the 4th of July. So the 7th of July. So just appreciate this country, man. This country kicks ass. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the current racing that we've seen the past month, and then we're going to lead into talking about a little bit of a silly season. So the first race I wanted to bring up, the All-Star race. I thought it was a pretty good race. I liked that Corey was leading at the Open until I guess a caution came out and tires wore out. He didn't end up keeping it, but it was cool to see. being a Corey fan. We're not used to seeing him, P1 all the time. So, and then the last lap controversy between Blaney, him taking the window net down. And for people that don't know, he basically went past the start finish line, thought he won, and the caution came out right before, and he's celebrating on his radio and puts his window net down, and then they say, oh, you got to go through again. And then he's trying to figure out how to put it up with one arm while driving a car, and that's quite a task. And Denny Hamlin, of course, is throwing a complaint out there, and they end up going back green, white, checkered, and Blaney wins anyways, but he wins with an insecured window net. And and Denny Hamlin went on Twitter and everything like he would, and he talks about how unsafe it was and what have you. I wanted to know from you guys, do you think that NASCAR made the right call? I personally, I don't think they should have even thrown the caution. Just somebody hit the wall in the backstretch and had nothing, like it was clear, and they still called it. So what do you think would have been the right call if you were the guy of NASCAR throwing the rules out there?
So in my opinion, honestly, like the caution coming out is the bigger problem, at least as far as the questioning goes. In what race would an incident like that bring out a caution? You could literally tell that they were just going for the ooh and ah factor. They wanted the green, white checker. They were trying to salvage what was an abysmal race up to that point. Now, I do agree with Sparks as far as the window net goes. And I mean, it's on Ryan and the 12 team to know the rules for the All-Star race, whether it's the same or different than the other 37 races they run. Ryan's my secondary driver, so in the end of the day, I was happy that he won, but I would have understood if they took the win away from him as well.
I think NASCAR has just got to find a way to be more consistent, right? I definitely agree with you, Andrew. I feel like it's definitely a deal where it's, we can tighten the field up one more time and, rack them and turn them loose kind of deal, what have you. But then like you flash forward to, I guess it was just this last weekend, you got old Brad Keselowski, or however you say it. He's limping around the racetrack for like the last 3 laps of the race. And who knows if he's putting debris down on the flat or whatever. He's obviously a disabled vehicle, and NASCAR is just like, oh, nope, nothing's wrong there. But this deal, this guy barely bounces off the wall and carries on, and they throw the caution. So it's definitely an inconsistent thing there. I think that's where you got to start looking at it first and foremost. But as far as the rule situation with the window net, sorry, the rule book says it's got to be up while you're driving. I don't really care that it's an exhibition race. If that's what the rule calls for, it's what it calls for. And there was a lot of people on Twitter, they brought up a really good example with like Mark Martin in it was the Busch series, I guess, back in the day. And if memory serves me right, it was at Bristol. Well, he's the leader of the race, and he pulls down pit road with still 1 lap to go, thinking the checkered's already, waved and it's over. Well, NASCAR didn't give him the win, even though it was an honest mistake. So I don't know. I don't think he should have got the win. Not that I really want to see Denny Hamlin win anything either, but I don't think he should have got it.
Yeah, I think the perfect scenario is NASCAR saying, "Hey, we messed up. Let's let him come down and fix the window net, go back out and lead for the green, white, checkered." But I guess that'd be too good to be true. I don't know of NASCAR ever giving somebody back a position like that. So. Well, on to the next race. We had the Coca-Cola 600, and honestly, it was a horrible race for a Corey LaJoie fan. You had the tire failure that happened at practice, and he wrecked the same way in the actual race, literally the same failure, and he hit in the same left side on the turn, and really sucked for him, considering that he had the USO on the hood and had a lot of attention and media. And honestly, I just want to move on to the next race, which would be Worldwide Technology Raceway. Corey DNF'd, again, not a good race. But I thought overall the racing was good. I was surprised because I was not excited to see a flat track race with these next gens, but I was actually entertained, and it had nothing to do with the drama and with our guy out. And I wanted to ask you guys your opinion on the kind of the Chastain reckless driving drama that came with all that. He booted Denny Hamlin out of the way, whether or not that was on purpose or not. Hamlin and later Chase ended up getting payback to him, and Hamlin ended up like almost slowing him up and like trying to make him hit minimum speed. And it was kind of, to me, it looked kind of childish. Like I've never seen a payback like that. And afterwards, Denny Hamlin said in an interview that, you have to fence these guys hard, and inciting that he's going to get actual payback later on in the year. And then what was the race owner for Chastain tweeted that he can't wait after quoting a Bob Pockrass tweet. So it's all very interesting, and I just wanted to know, what do you guys think of it? Do you think there's a certain person at fault? Is it childish? What do you guys think?
So for me, I felt like in that race, Ross was a lot more of a wrecking ball than he normally is. Like, I do believe that was a little bit over the top, but at this point in time, he is the driver that he is, and everybody out there should expect it. And now Ross, on the other hand, has to be ready to handle the consequences when they come back around. But honestly, I didn't like Ross getting out of the car and doing that whole spiel about, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. I think these guys shouldn't want to race with me. But we saw it the next week. He's right back laying the fender to these guys and tearing into them, which I want to see. I mean, I want to see a guy that will that wants to win at any cost, not is just going to drive around and get pushed around. Honestly, like Ryan Blaney does. Blaney gets beat around by everybody, not including his teammates. So
I like to see it. I guess my first question is, have you guys ever heard of a guy named Dale Earnhardt? Pretty good race car driver, right? That's what he was known for, was using the chrome horn and getting into people and making rivalries and having disagreements and whatever. Now, do I feel that Ross Chastain maybe needs to use a little more moderation, I guess, or, not quite be so reckless? I think it's good for the sport, and I think it's good for him as a driver. Like, and I don't want to speak on his behalf, but I would like to say if I was somebody that's raced for some of the smaller teams that he has, right, and now he's with Trackhouse, which is obviously very competitive equipment. It seems like here of late, this guy's been in the top 10, every week, and obviously has a couple of wins. So, I mean, really consistent, right? I feel like you got to take every chance you can. You're in some really good equipment. And so, yeah, if you use some guys up, at least you can still back it up with a top 5 on your own. It's not like you're out there just running over people and still finding a way to DNF. So I don't know. I think it's good for the sport. That's about all I got for that. I like it. I like him.
Yeah, I agree. I was shocked and confused when he did come out of his car, and he was all apologetic. He's never been like that before. He's always kind of been like, he's kind of reminded me of Carl Edwards. He stands by what he did, and he said, yeah, man, that's just hard racing. And the true test will be when he gets wrecked, how will he react to that? If you're going out and racing people like that, that's fine, but just understand they're going to race you back to the same way. And so it's definitely interesting. And I don't know if I truly believe his post-race interview. It's completely out of character for him, and I hope he didn't mean it, because if he did, then I've been growing fond to him as well, being a Florida native and seeing that hard-nosed racing. So next race we got up, it's Sonoma. Corey was again not a good race. He had power steering issues, and he finished 9 laps down. And Suarez ended up winning, so good for Trackhouse yet again. I'm going to move on to Nashville, just save some time. Nashville, Caurie battled to 20th place after being a lap down, only 30 laps in. So it was quite an uphill battle. So it was a good thing for him. He definitely stacked some pennies, as he likes to say. You did have the Caurie Bowman run in, and they didn't really have a good TV camera to really truly justify who was right or wrong. To me, it looked like Caurie was in the bottom lane and Bowman was in the middle and kind of came down onto him. However, I don't have enough to really say I don't think that Caurie is the perfect driver, that everybody makes mistakes. However, it was interesting to hear Bowman say that, Corey LaJoie is a really good race car driver. I guess his sarcastic humor, I guess. And, it has to be nice to be a rich little race car driver that thinks that they're tough by talking on the radio. But that's just my take. I guess they went back and forth on Twitter. It is what it is. And then like you guys talked about earlier, Chase Elliott ended up winning the race, but 4 laps before he won the race, Keselowski wrecked, got walled, and limped around the track and got lapped 4 times while, his wheel was basically dislocated and he was just scraping along and trying to get to the start finish line to just end his misery, and even driving into the grass. And was quite an interesting stark contrast between that and the All-Star race. And I wanted to know what you guys thought of Nashville as a whole, if it was a good race, and what you thought about that ending. Is that something that's a favoritism, or is that something that NASCAR learned from the mistake of All-Star?
So the race itself for Caurie, I feel like it shows a lot of the heart and drive of the team to be willing to continuously keep working on the car. I mean, we started 22nd, I believe, and fell straight back. We were 31st, 32nd by the time we went down a lap. And Sparks and Caurie just continued to keep working on the feedback that Caurie was giving, and then the things that Sparks thought was going to make the car better. And by the end of the race, they had a top 20 car. And anytime that Spire is finishing in the top 20, you can't ask for a better day than that, especially on a track like this where it doesn't come down to drafting and all that. In my opinion, though, with the end of the race, I don't like to be that guy, but I think almost any other driver but Chase leading that race, that caution flag comes out and you're going to get a green-white checkered. Because to NASCAR country, what's better than a green-white checkered? Golden Boy winning.
Yep.
Yeah, you pretty much took my response on that, and that just parallels, back to earlier. We're not going to throw a caution for this, but we will for that. We got to make sure that Chase Elliott, gets his win and he's in the playoffs, because he sells a lot of hats and T-shirts, and that's just my opinion. I definitely agree. Anybody else in the field, it's a caution. Going back to as far as Corey's day goes, as a Corey LaJoie fan, isn't it interesting how it's sometimes a roller coaster of emotions, right? Like if you sit there and you listen to the scanner and you're watching the race, you get excited when, we qualify 22nd and they drop the green flag, and then like 5 laps later, we're down to 28th. And I'll be messaging Josh going, man, what is going on? Like, I figured we'd be all right, and then a little while later this happens, and okay, we're making improvements, and It's such a grind, both as a fan, but obviously those guys as a team, they grind really hard. And I don't know, got to shout out NASCAR too. The racing to me wasn't super, super awesome at Nashville. I mean, it wasn't horrible, but shout out to those guys for working to get the track dry, to make sure that we got a show in. Like gas is $5 a gallon right now, folks. And the cost of everything is going up to be able to go to a race. Well, how horrible is it to spend all that money and only get to see not even half of the race, and then you got to go home because you got to work. You can't stay till next day on Monday. Shout out to those guys for making sure that at least some of the fans would be able to watch that race that night that they paid for. I think that speaks volumes for sure. Seems like there's been a lot of other times I've seen the rain delay come, and it's like they try for 30 minutes and they're like, all right, well, TV coverage is ended, so we're out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow. So I thought that was pretty cool. Either way.
All right. Well, our next subject is kind of the topic of the show. It is silly season. I have a mouthful to read. So I wanted to shout out jski.com. They are the silly season website. They're the website you go to see anything detailed about NASCAR. And so it's pretty cool. So the possible free agents of 2023, you got Kyle Busch. We don't know what's going on with that 18 car, if he's going to be there or not. I was thinking maybe Noah Gragson, whether or not he's going to be like colleague full-time, or if it's going to be the same story as this year. Ty Gibbs, he's waiting on a Joe Gibbs Racing seat to fill. And again, whether or not he's going to fill the 18, whether or not, where all that's going. Truex just reinstated, so he's not going to be retiring. And the number 10 car of Eric Almirola, he's retiring. And there's, I guess, rumor that it's going to be Ryan Preece because he's kind of like their fill-in driver or test driver. So I'm not sure how true all of that is. But real quick, a disclaimer for all the people watching. I have absolutely no inside intel. I have this is just pure speculation. And I wanted to just let you guys know, I do believe that Spire is great in the aspect of they were a fresh new team. I like that they brought in a new number to the new generation. I mean, the 7 has been around with Icons, obviously, but it's new to see. It's cool to see him get a new number, new font, like it's his own thing. They're a fun group, and the family environment, we've had a couple of interviews on the show, and we realized that everybody loves to work for Spire because it's almost like a family environment. In fact, Corey's even said that, if I got an offer to go work at Joe Gibbs or wherever, the Spire owners would drive me there, so it's cool to hear that. And it's a good feeling to support such a wholesome racing team. I feel like, they showed a lot of progress last year. You had Daytona, most notably Daytona, Martinsville, and Darlington had a lot of good TV moments and shout outs and leading or being in the top 10 or top 15. Unfortunately, has not been a whole lot of gains this year. And this year has actually been quite a struggle for that team, not having any cheat sheet notes for this next gen car. And I am speculating all this because Corey is now 30 years old, and this is his 4th full-time season with 2 with Go Fast and now 2 with Spire. And I was starting to look at, most drivers switch to different teams multiple times in their careers. And the drivers that came to mind for me, I've always kind of compared Corey LaJoie to Martin Truex, mainly because of his route of jumping to different teams before he finally became a champion. He jumped to 4 different teams, and I'm sure he'll retire where he's at now. You got Boyer also at 4, also similarities with Corey LaJoie. And then you got somebody like Michael McDowell, who is now all of a sudden being successful and getting the horsepower in him. And he has been on 11 teams. So what I'm thinking about is possible rides for Corey LaJoie. You got the number 10 that's going to free up. Whether or not Ryan Preece is going to go in there or not, it's just rumor. Obviously, everything is rumor. But it's definitely something to think about. You got the 18 opening up at Kyle Busch. You have the drivers that are going to retire soon. You got Harvick. He's already going in through 2023, but I'm sure he's on the verge of retiring. Kurt Busch again. He also said his 2022 contract was multi-year. So yeah, at least he's going through next year. You got Truex, who reinstated, but he's been in the Cup Series since 2004, so that's coming. And Michael McDowell has been in the Cup Series since 2008, and there's no word with him, but I can't imagine that he's going to retire considering he's the success he's had the past few years. So on top of that, we have new teams and new capabilities for maybe another charter. We have right now NASCAR is kind of in a unique spot. I don't think we've ever had this many teams, brand new teams open up in NASCAR, with only a year or two on. So BeyondTheFlag.com said that Rick Ware they're threatening to finish outside the top 33 again in ownership points, and that would put them to a sacrifice of their agreement with their charter requirements. Right now, the number 15 team is right at the cut line at 33rd place. Granted, the 7 is at 32nd and the 77 is at 34th. So not that I'm particularly saying that they're horrible, but I'm saying that there's these charters that they may not have their charters next year. And then you have Cody Efall. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right, but he's the GM of, and again, I don't know if this is a Nice or Nice Motorsports, told David Seagal of the latest edition of Victory Lane podcast that the organization has discussed about the possible Cup Series effort with Carson Hocevar in 2023. You got, and then these are just kind of teams that, maybe they could have an extra seat open up. Maybe they buy out an extra charter. So you have GMS Racing, new team, Chevy with Jones, Ty Dillon. You got Colleague with the Hendrick Motorsports Chevy engined Haley and their seat shuffle. JTD Daughtry again with another Hendrick Motorsports engine Chevy. They only have the 47 of Stenhouse. However, they used to have the 37 of Priest. So, I thought maybe, would a 37, continue with the 7th theme? Would that be something Corey would go into? You got 23 XI where you got Bubba and Kurt. They're definitely not going anywhere. And Corey has a good relationship with both of those guys. And I don't know particularly if Denny Hamlin would be happy with Corey LaJoie joining his team or not. I don't know if that's over. To me, Denny almost seems like somebody that could be petty and just holds a grudge, even if he shows face on track. You got RFK with Brad and Chris Buescher. Do they have enough success to buy another charter? And Trackhouse now is going to have 3 seats, 2 full-time. They have that recent new seat where they're going to have part-time drivers in it. I honestly don't expect it, but they are the hottest team right now in NASCAR. And I found it funny on Stacking Pennies. Corey LaJoie ended up coming on, and after he interviewed Justin Marks, his last question was something along the lines of, "So are you hiring?" And he said, "Oh, I have to buy a charter first." So that was interesting. And not a new team, but you got Front Row Motorsports. You got McDowell doing well, and whether or not they'd want to fund an extra team. I think that Corey would blend in well with McDowell. I think that they're buddies. They do that motor racing outreach church stuff together, and so he has the connections. In general, Corey has connections from all of his PR stuff and his podcasting, and I feel like he's a good spokesman for a product in general, and that's a big deal in NASCAR. It's how much money you have. And then not a new team. Finally, you got RCR, you got Austin Dillon and Reddick, but you have the Ryan Sparks connection. I feel like if Corey were to go in there, he brings Sparks with him, so you kind of have that connection there too. So my final spot before I finally shut up is Junior Motorsports. So in 2021, Junior contemplated possibly bringing out a Cup team, but he said how expensive it is to buy a charter and whether or not it's worth it or not. And actually today, as of June 29th, that Kelly Earnhardt, I read in an article that Kelly Earnhardt confirmed that it's not if, it's when, but that means, the season. It doesn't mean necessarily, not today, tomorrow. Is it going to be this season, next season, 2024? Who knows? But whether or not that's true, again, everything has got to go through legal stuff. But I do see that Junior and Corey LaJoie are friends, and Letarte obviously already has a connection. He's still working with Spire. I don't remember what his title is there, but he has that connection with Hendrick Motorsports, with Junior, and you have the Xfinity season. You have Josh Berry and Noah Gragson. Would they combine them two, and just them two would be their team? I don't know. And could we see a merger? Could we see a Earnhardt Spire Motorsports, or could it be, whatever he calls it, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Motorsports, but he's taking over Spire and combining all of the personnel? And so finally, I wanted to know what you guys think. Where do you see Corey next year? Is he going to be driving the 7 Inspire, same old, or is he going to be getting a funding from somebody like Junior, maybe Junior Spire Motorsports or something, or a new charter? Where do you see next year going?
So it's a lot to contemplate. Yeah. Like, in my opinion, the 10 ride is really corresponding with whoever Smithfield decides to back. I don't think it has anything to do with who Tony wants in that car unless Smithfield gives them a green light. As far as Kyle Busch goes, I don't see any situation that he leaves Joe Gibbs Racing unless for some reason he brings Kyle Busch Motorsports to the Cup Series, which could always be a possibility. I mean, just the Toyota support that they already have, I don't see it happening, but I wouldn't be surprised either. For Corey, though, I see a possible JTG car or Front Row Motorsports, or staying where he's at, in my opinion. If Junior would come to the Cup Series, I fully believe Josh Berry and or Noah Gragson would be the drivers that he has. And Colleague, I don't know if I see anybody except for AJ coming back for one more run in the Cup Series. I just think the way that he has helped establish that program, I mean, and the funding that Matt Colleague puts into the program himself with Leaf Filter, at least 1 year, I would see AJ being there. There's pros and cons to staying with Spire. I think they are making progress. For me, it's very frustrating seeing them wasting resources on a second Cup car that is nothing more than a bottom tier, bring sponsorship to the track. It almost feels like some of these teams that say pay for a set of tires and you can drive this car. I mean, so.
I agree with that point. I don't know why there's 2 cars at Spire. It seems like the funding is overall lacking, obviously, just to put one competitive car on the track, right? And I would say obviously the 7's the priority out of the 2, and there's still a lot of troubles there, right? So I feel like maybe it could be better if it was just one car, but obviously they know something that we don't, because we're all in agreement they probably don't need a second car, but for whatever reason they feel they do. So maybe it's again one of those like longer term vision kind of deals. Got to go through the journey and cut your teeth and what have you. I think Corey's going to be at Spire again next year. I just don't see a whole lot of opportunity there for him. And like, I love Corey LaJoie to death. I think he's a badass race car driver. I truly believe in him, but I don't think he's been in equipment that's capable enough to really show what he's capable of. Right. So therefore it's hard for these bigger teams to go, well, hey, you know what? We'll sign the guy because we really like him and he's got a cool personality, even though his average finish is 25th. You know what I mean? We're going to put him in this $1.5 million race car. I don't think there's enough justification there yet. Not any fault of his own. Just, again, he's been on his own journey, cutting his teeth and making his way up. Secondly, I want to add that Corey and everybody else from Spire Motorsports has been very candid ever since he came there that while, it would be better equipment than what Corey had, ran in many previous years, it still wasn't going to be contending for wins every week. And they really harped on the fact that it was just going to be a grind and really got to hustle it out. So they did okay their first year. And then this year, I mean, it's a new car. It's a curveball for everybody. And then factor in all the other stuff that we talk about so many other times. It's just, I think you got to go a little longer to see what it's really talking about, to see what the true capability is of Spire. I think they've got the potential to do something really great there, guys. I just think that the team and fans just like us, we got a lot of hard days ahead, you know. But I do want to say, just as a quick side note, the shoe analyst Josh Madore, he left a really good statistic, if you will, on the page a few days ago. They talked about, even though they've got 5 or 6 DNFs this year, and that's, you know, tied for, I think, the most with Cody Ware. The bright part is out of I believe the 12 races that he has finished, he's finished in the top 20 8 times. So if you cancel out the DNFs, and I know that's hard, that's still not saying a lot. If you made those go away and you said out of 12 races, 8 times we finished in the top 20, well, you're doing something right. So it's there. It's just going to take a little time. I'm kind of excited to see what it can bring, but I also think that next year is the make or break on it. I would personally think that if no bigger strides were made, then it's definitely time to think about, you know, exploring other opportunities, perhaps. About you, Josh?
I'm hoping for, you know, if, you know, he's not going to score the 18, you know, he's not going to just jump from, you know, Spire finishing hopefully, you know, 25th to the 18, where it's, you know, $1 million company. But I do hope that he at least gets some type of funding. It'd be really cool if somehow Hendrick put more money into it, Letard, Junior, any of those connections. You know, that's the one thing I thought about was, you know, Corey said several times on different, you know, interviews and podcasts that the sport is about the money. It's about the sponsors and what you bring to the table. And I feel like, you know, unfortunately, the Cup garage is pretty bland, and Corey stands out. You know, like he is the top standout personality driver, and we don't have a whole lot of personalities anymore. So hopefully that does something for him. But you know, I do think about it. I loved the opportunity to Aspire. I love the 7, and it's a feeling of new, and that he and the feeling of that the team truly backs Corey, and that it's a wholesome family feel. It's not a big company feel. But I also think about, you know, the guy's got to feed his family. And at the end of the day, if he had to make a choice, he has to go somewhere, and he has to, his job is not to be the test driver for Spire that maybe in 10 years will be a, you know, a top tier team. It's he's there to, you know, win races and championships and make money for his family. So, you know, and this year's just been frustrating, you know? So, you know, I just hope that something better comes along next year. And if it's that he stays Aspire, that they can figure things out. And I like, again, like I said, I like Spire, and I want good things for him, but I also want Corey to think about himself as well, and not just think about the long-term plan of bettering Aspire Motorsports, you know? So, all right. Well, I appreciate you guys talking to me. I'm sorry I had to give you an earful with all the stats and stuff, but I researched it because I find it interesting, and we won't really probably know until next year, like right before Daytona, or, you know, a month before, but where Corey ends up, or where anybody ends up. But I find it interesting. And so next up on the show, we got our guest of the show, Caurie Putnam-Ferguson, and her son Brady. They're going to be coming on the show and telling us their unique story. So without further ado, here is Caurie and Brady. All right, y'all, we are back, and we're hanging out with our guests of the show, Caurie and Brady. How you guys doing?
Great.
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for coming by. We knew you guys had a unique story and quite a inspirational story, and we wanted to get to know you guys. And before we get to hear that, I kind of want to just get to know you guys as race fans and as a part of Team Super Shoe. So wanted to know, Corey, do you have a history of being a racing fan? Did you grow up being a fan, or is this all Brady's adventure?
This is all thanks to Brady. I really didn't grow up being a fan or exposed to NASCAR in any way, but Brady fell in love with it during the pandemic and brought the whole family on board. And now we're major fans. We watch the race every Sunday.
Awesome. And Brady, what do you find the best? What's the most exciting about racing?
The excitement.
Yeah, it is exciting for sure. Cool. And do you guys have favorite drivers? I mean, obviously we are big fans of Corey LaJoie, but do you guys have anybody else, or maybe different leagues?
We also really like Joey Logano, but Corey's our number one. What about you, Braid?
Joey and Ryan, the second.
Ryan Blaney. Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah, Ryan Blaney is a good guy. I like his mustache when he has that. So, wanted to know you guys. I know you went to the Glen, and we're going to get to that shortly. But do you have any other races that you guys have attended? Any favorite races? Anything like that?
That was our first and only race, but we definitely we want to start making it an annual thing. I think the next course we want to try is Poconos. That would be the next closest track to us. So
nice. Are you guys out in Pennsylvania, or where are you guys located?
Yeah, we're out between Rochester and Buffalo, New York. And my oldest son goes to college in Pennsylvania.
Awesome. All right, cool. All right, Mike.
So, hello, my name's Mike. It's good to meet you guys. I just want to say thank you so much for taking a little bit of time to come and hang out with me and Josh here at Team Super Shoe. So I want to take a minute just to talk about the man of the hour here, Mr. Brady. Mom, if you could tell us a little bit about Brady's chronic illness and maybe some of the things that that a mother and a father maybe go through day to day when taking care of Brady.
Yeah, absolutely. Brady was born a little bit early, and he was born with a rare genetic disorder called hyperexia, which means he startles, and he can startle up to like 100 times a day if he's not on seizure medication. So the seizure medication keeps it under control. But it comes with side effects, and he has to be on it for life. So we just, every day is a great day because Brady's with us. But there are definitely challenges, and things like, getting to meet Corey was a huge highlight for him. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And so that brings me to my next point. So there's this incredible corporation named the Dream Factory in Rochester, New York, and that's the people that granted Brady's dream, which some of us know was y'all's really awesome weekend out at Watkins Glen. But if you guys could tell us a little bit about that, and maybe how it all came together, or how you became affiliated with the Dream Factory.
Yeah, so I'm actually in my normal life, I'm a reporter. So I've covered lots of wish and dream stories for other children. And that's how I got to know the Dream Factory. And they're a national organization. We're just really lucky to have a chapter out here in Rochester. And they're a little different than Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish is one that, a lot of people are familiar with. And they're in another amazing organization, but Dream Factory is for kids with chronic illness. So like Brady, that thankfully it's not life-threatening, but it's definitely life-impacting every day. So I reached out to the Dream Factory to nominate him for a Dream. And he needed a doctor's nomination too. So his neurologist wrote him a nomination and he was selected. So it was really exciting.
So how did you maybe react whenever you would receive the news that he would be granted the dream? And then maybe could you take us through how the day started, like on the day of, right? Like I remember reading an article where you said that it was so awesome to be able to wake him up and say, hey, it's, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I definitely cried when I got the phone call he got selected for a dream. It was just really exciting and motivating. And then Brady went through the whole process of selecting a dream. And so he came up with this idea himself to go to a NASCAR race and to meet his favorite driver. So then the day of the race, it was really, really exciting to go in and wake him up and, tell him it's your dream day. And there's just a lot of mornings when you have a child with a chronic illness where it begins with, medication, or it begins with them being sick or throwing up, or even with a child with seizures in the morning, you go into their bedroom and you just don't know. So it was a wonderful time.
Yeah. About got me in tears. I'm not even going to lie. That's awesome.
I got a question. What brought Brady to be a Corey LaJoie and Joey Logano fan?
Do you want to talk about it?
No.
Well, in full disclosure, Brady was a Joey Logano fan first, and he liked Joey because he actually saw a Make-A-Wish segment that Joey did, and he really liked that and thought Joey was a nice guy. So he started following Joey, and his wish was actually his dream was actually to meet Joey, and that did not work out. But Corey heard about it and stepped in and offered to take over the wish. And now Corey is our favorite driver. So it was a really stand-up thing for him to do. We got a phone call from the Dream Factory, and they were like, well, unfortunately, Joey's not able to do it, but have you ever heard of a driver named Corey LaJoie? And we were familiar with Corey, but we had no idea, what an amazing guy Corey is.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's just another great reason to cheer for Corey LaJoie. That guy, he puts his best out there on the track every Sunday, but he still puts 110% out there like Monday through Saturday. So that is phenomenal to hear that he's the one that kind of, picked up the tab on that deal. And that is.
Yep. And his team covered everything. And to show what a stand-up guy beyond that he is, he actually personally made a point of making sure that Brady met Joey Logano that day too. So it was really awesome.
So I guess my final question would be, just kind of closing all this together. What did all of that day mean for you, especially whenever you talk about all of the days that are, can sometimes be trying or stressful or what have you, the unknowns? What was it like for both of you just to kind of be able to forget about that for a day and, be able to walk around and see some of the coolest race drivers in the world?
Yeah, it was amazing. Corey made sure Brady met a lot of drivers, and Brady had one-on-one time with quite a few drivers. And, we keep the family photo we got with Corey and Joey on our refrigerator. And it's just a reminder when times get tough for all of us in the family to have that photo on the fridge is a great reminder that, not only of that day, but there are really great people in this world who who will always, surround Brady and look out for him. So it was awesome.
Indeed, it does sound that way. So I have to ask, are you guys going to be able to attend any races this year, maybe before the end of the year?
We're really hoping to. Unfortunately, Watkins Glen this year is the day that Brady's older brother has to be dropped off at college, but we're really going to work on another race. And Brady has stayed in touch with Caurie, so that's been wonderful. That he's stayed a part of things. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. It's really cool to hear your story. Heartwarming to hear that somebody, I don't know if really Corey LaJoie is considered a celebrity or not, but that he is there preparing for a race car or preparing for a race, and he went out of his way to make you guys feel special. And me and Mike, obviously not to near as heartwarming of an extent as yours, but me and Mike both have our stories where Corey spent time with our kids, and means a lot. And so that's pretty cool. So
Absolutely.
Well, either way, I want to thank both of you so much for coming on and sharing your story and explaining why it is that you're a race fan. And I can't thank you enough. I'm almost at a loss for words for it. This has been one of the coolest stories that I've ever heard as far as a fan engagement, between fans and a driver. And I think it's gonna help a lot of people keep cheering for that number 7 car. So again, I appreciate y'all so much. And Brady, you keep doing well, my friend. Keep your head up, and maybe one day we can all get you down to a race. Maybe you can come hang out with us and make some news on Team Super Shoe.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. It's been special to participate.
yeah, thank you guys. All right, God bless you guys, and we just thank you for hanging out with us on the show. Caurie and Brady, thank you again for hanging out with Team Super Shoe. It's pretty cool to get to know you guys and to hear your unique story. I know God has a purpose and a plan for Brady's life, and it's pretty cool that Corey LaJoie and his team brought him a memory that he'll never forget. So going off of that, we're going to now meet a 13-year-old Team Super Shoe member. He is our member of the month, and his name is Nathan Brzozowski. So without further ado, here is member of the month.
Hi, my name is Nathan Brzozowski. I'm 13. I love the sport of racing because I've worked with my dad with race cars and stuff. My dad works for a race team. My first race was in 2010, and I fell in love with the sport since. I like Corey because he one time let me go into tech and sign the car for Samaritan's feet, and so I actually got the piece back, which is really cool. Let's go, Corey!
All right, y'all. Well, this is about wrapping up episode number 8 of the Shoe Show. It's been a lot of fun, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. We are trying to get to 100 subscribers so we can have the official YouTube link or URL of youtube.com/Team Super Shoe. So please, if you haven't subscribed, please do. And I promise I won't bug you too much. We only make one episode a month. So, but otherwise, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. It's just pretty cool to get to know everybody, to bond these friendships that we bonded, and to meet the people that we meet, and the struggles that they go through, and meet veterans of the military. And it's just pretty cool to connect to you guys. We're starting to become more and more like family. So, but other than that, guys, God bless, stay safe, and just see you again August 7th next month.